Hey there YouTubes, this is Grimweird coming back at you with more MC Eternal mod pack playthrough action for Minecraft 1.12.2, and I've pretty much finished my Astral Sorcery area. I just need to make a few more things like an illumination wand and an observatory, and then replace all of the torches with little yellow globe orbs or some other type of lighting. Things are going pretty good here. I've got the top level crafting altar going. I've got an advanced collector going. So it is fully jacked up with energy. I was using a floating crystal stolen with a sack of holding. And you can see I once again have a few effects lingering from using it that way. I think next time I got to make sure and just get up to this level somewhere else and then move. You can see I've once again got a Astral Sorcery tree beacon, and I am collecting Spectre stuff with it. In particular, I am trying to get a bunch of ectoplasm, and I have already done a few things like made some. Actually, I think I want to release one of those here. I got to be a little careful with how and where I release these because I don't want them causing problems. Alright, so that's good. That works. So I can get rid of these torches because this chunk is all lit up. You can see, I've got an epic battle going with the Harpies. So the Harpies have been a constant adversary during this. So I hatched myself some cockatrice. We've got war, pestilence, famine, and death. Although I've started thinking them more of Skeksis because they like to get involved when I'm doing rituals. And so I've got crystals and stuff going on, and they remind me of the dark crystal Skeksis. But I've got the Starlight Infuser. I need to get a containment chalice for that, or a crystal chalice, whatever it's called. They're like harpy feathers everywhere from them. Got my attunement altar. Let's see, where did this end up going over here? This thing floats to like the highest point in your chunk, and it's always on the looks like it's the northwest corner. So the thing I got to watch out for is make sure that if it's on the northwest corner, it's not going to block anything that I don't want lit up. In other words, this spot here where this is needs to have access to the sky. So if I place this here and it goes just straight up above it, then that would cause issues. But it looks like it's not going to do that. So that's good. Let's verify. Yeah, this is still working. And so I should be able to get rid of a bunch of these torches now. And all of these, and probably that. I put in some grass paths because I've got that perk from either Reskillable or Leveled Up Reloaded, whichever one it is. Okay, and I'm free to put one here, so let's put one here. Now I can get rid of all these torches. Have my magnet turned off because I was doing something somewhere. What about here? I think I'm safe. I can always remove it if it gets in the way. Pretty sure this whole thing doesn't have to be open to the sky. I think only the altar needs to be open, and it is on the southwest, not the northwest, so we should be good. Alright. A few more torches to pick up. And let's go ahead and throw one in here too. Get rid of all this. Alright, turn off our guidelines. I wonder if we can get away with not having them out here. This is sort of outside the lines a bit. If we look here, they're sort of a ways out, but the light does radiate, so it'll be like full sunlight here, and then it'll sort of go down as it goes out. But if we turn on these, oh yeah, we got no problems. Beautiful. I hate having all these torches sitting around. Alright, so attunement altar, crafting altar, advanced collector crystal, my posse of cockatrices that were protecting me from harpies while I built all of this. Got a crystal grinder and a light well and 17 buckets left of light after all the stuff I was doing. Got a peace candle, but it doesn't work on harpies, so yay. But I think we're good to go. Another fun thing that I've used basically for the first time here is the eclipsed clock from Random Things. So you can right-click on it to set a time. So you can see I've got it set with that black on the left and the blue on the right. This is happens to be sunset. And now if I go over it with the time in a bottle, it'll tell me that if I use up 5 minutes 50 seconds of the time in the bottle, I will go to that time. So I click and boom, it is now sunset. So we can see how the lighting works, and the lighting looks good. I like it. So yeah, the cockatrice, you guys have seen, one of the first things I tend to do is set up a couple chickens trapped on top of a hopper and have them shed feathers and eggs into a crate for me. And so I had a whole bunch of cockatrice eggs, and I wasn't sure what kind of rate I was going to get, but I went ahead and just threw out a bunch and happened to get 4. With the half stack of eggs that I got. So I think that was 4 out of 32. Since there was 4 of them, I named them after the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. But like I said, I've been considering renaming them things like Skektek and Skekso and etc. from the Dark Crystal, because they crack me up. But things are going well, and we are all set here. An illumination wand, I need one of these, I need a containment chalice, I need an observatory. The iridescent altar is done. That's done. Oh, and I just hit 30 in my Astral Sorcery perks. So let's talk about perks for a second. So available points 1, I just hit 30. And so this was my sort of leveling build, if you will. So I started out in Evortio, attuning myself to Evortio. And then I came up through here, and then made a beeline to Epiphany Destruction. So to open Epiphany Destruction, you have to take these 3 outside ones, each of which is plus 15% perk experience gained. And then when you take that, you open up these other 2 and you can teleport. Essentially, you don't have to work the path. You can teleport over here, and 1 point gets you all of these. So by coming up here first, and getting this 45% perk XP. My next 3 points were then another 45% perk XP and another 45% perk XP. And I then came down through here, picked up 20% perk experience gain there, came down to the center. This costs a point, but then you gain 3 additional points. And this opens up the other routes. So it opens up the different ways for you to get experience, which is handy. The ones that I find the most useful, really, when I'm doing this sort of, very fast bash through the perk points, maxing out perk points, is probably actually the gain experience by traveling the world. And I'll show you that in a minute. But if you have a glider and or flight, and you can move fast, this gets a noticeable amount of experience. And there are other ways to cheese things like taking damage. You can stand in some regeneration water, or auto guzzle potions, or something like that while you let yourself get beat up. Things like that. Building things, you can place blocks and break blocks and sort of set up a loop. There are other ways to do it, but I like just sort of tearing the world apart by mining for most of it, and then flying around a lot when I don't feel like mining. But then after, so I started here, went up there, came to the middle, and then I sort of worked out and picked up another couple of the plus 20%, after getting these out here. But now we can reset these and focus on, instead of gaining experience, we can now focus on combat damage. So now we're going to take our Radiant Star that we made. That requires the top iridescent altar, the tier 4 altar. It requires an attuned Dissidia, which I have. You can see I've got the little red constellation here. This is the damage constellation. So I've got an attuned celestial crystal here. That allows me... Oh, they're fighting. You can see them burning down that harpy. Basically, they've been... we do have to get... I mean, I have... In theory, things can't spawn there because of the... peace candle, but things spawn. Some of the things like Mousy's mobs and Fish's undead, and some of these other mobs seem to do whatever they want regardless of peace candles and spawn rules. So I don't think you can actually stop the harpies from appearing, which is why I've got my guys here, or I guess a guy and 3 girls. But anyway, so you make a normal shifting star, which will just reset all of your experience and reset your attunement, your personal attunement to a constellation. But that's no good. But you can use it earlier. This is only the tier 2. So if you start down a path and then decide you want to change, and you haven't gotten very far, this is perfectly valid. But then once you've mastered things and have a tier 4 altar, you can actually do this. And this will give you all your perk points back, and it will switch your attunement to whichever constellation you use for attunement. So this is an Irradiant Star for Dissidia. So when I do this, I will go from being attuned to Evortio is where I started here, and did a bunch of that stuff. And I did that mostly because I just like to gain experience by breaking blocks, because it gives me an excuse to go out and do a whole lot of manual mining, which I'll show you in a moment. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out in Dissidia, and I'm going to go up through all of these trees. So let's go ahead and use this. So you right-click, hold, and it eventually fires. Yes, no, maybe. There it goes. And so now, perk points, I have 30 to spend. Very nice. And you can see that I have now moved over to Root of Decidia. So let's go ahead and do what we want to do here. Now we're going to look for, before what we were doing was perk gain. Oh, they're fighting. Get him. There's another one. You can see the Harpies trying to pick them up and drop them, but with 3 of them, they don't get very far. I had to put up walls. Their little kick when you get into melee range with the cockatrice is got a decent amount of knockback, so they knock them back. The only time they took any real noticeable damage, and by real I mean like 3 or 4 points of damage. I think War has a little bit of damage on him right now. Was when they fought a blue boss. So that was like a 3-star boss or whatever. Not yellow, not orange, but blue and diamond colored. And that battle took them a couple minutes. But they eventually wore him down. I did have to put up walls so that my cockatrice wouldn't wander off. I've got them set on patrolling. But I don't know if the Harpies knocked them off or if they just jumped off or what, but they would patrol off the edge, so I had to put walls around my platform. But anyway, let's take a look at these perks. So what I did the first time to level was perk experience. So now you can see in red, this is sort of the path I took. I started out gaining experience by mining blocks. I went straight up here and got those 3, which allowed me to get these 3. Then I sort of came around the corner and got this and this, which then opened up the other routes, which allowed me to gain experience from different ways for cheap, because you get the 3 points from taking singularity. So you actually gain 2 points when you take that. And you get some decent effectiveness going down through here too. And that increased effectiveness actually increases the effectiveness of perk experience gain as well. So that ain't bad. Then I came back up here and got this, and then sort of wrapped around to there, and wrapped around to there for those. And that's how I bashed through these so quick. That, and I'll show you, I did a lot of mining, which this flux bore was a beast. But now what we're after is mostly projectile stuff. So we're going to come up through here, and we're going to hit, we've got plus 10% critical chance. I'm going to do that, and that, and that. The ones I want to make sure and get are lethal draw for that plus 30%, plus 30% projectile damage and plus 15% critical damage multiplier, which has more crit and more projectile damage leading up to it. So that is absolutely crucial. So we'll come back and do more stuff, but let's lock that in first just so that I don't forget. Lethal draw achieved. Culling Strike will actually insta-kill things that are below 15% of their maximum life. I'm tempted, but I think I'm going to probably bail on that for other stuff because Usually I'm going to be killing things super fast anyway, and I don't know if that will work on bosses. But I do want to go ahead and get Blade Finesse. There are a few monsters that you have to fight with melee damage, like the Ferrous Wroughtnaut that I showed you last time. So that's definitely crucial. So that's gives you as also some added critical hit chance and critical damage multiplier. So let's run over and grab that real quick too. And then long shot and blunt bolts are sort of specializing in short shots or distant shots. Probably going to avoid that. The 15% projectile speed, I do want that, so we'll grab that. But this is like less damage, but you can shoot further. And this is less damage, but you can... You do more damage up close, and then you do more damage far away. So I don't know, I just don't like thinking about the range, so I'm probably going to avoid those. These 10% melee damage, 10% melee damage, 10% projectile, and 10% projectile, we're probably going to go ahead and get those. And these crit modifiers for heavy strike and sniper. So let's go ahead and grab those. And let me pause a moment here, because one of the things, if I come down in here, I'll get basically 2 extra points, and I'll get all of this. Let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It'll cost me 6 to get there, and then I'll have 3 back. So for 3 points, I can go ahead and get there. So let's go ahead and do that one. And get some effectiveness of perks too. So now you can see I have 6 points available. I should go down to 5, but then back up to 8 with this. There you go. And now in theory I can put a point into these, which I might... 20% mining speed, sort of cool, but I've already mining so fast I'm not too worried about it. 2 added life. I'm already at 30 hearts, so I'm not too worried about it. 1 added reach is sort of nice. Elemental resistance, I'm pretty tough as it is with the armor I've got. So I think with these last 8 points, what are we going to do here? Another 2% of each. Some movement speed, some critical chance. Taking a look at some of the special ones here. That sounds sort of cool. We could go 1, 2, 3. So we could sort of into the Electrobob's wizardry chain stuff. It's sort of fun to do this. Hitting mobs has a chance to spawn chaining lightning bolts between the hit and nearby monsters. That can be fun. What do we got down here? Oh, definitely want... There's another 8% and an 8%. Let's go ahead and get those. Oh, that one's... Is that connected? Yes. Rampage sounds sort of cool too. Got 6 points left. Let's go ahead and get that 10% and that 10%. Oh sure, let's get that 5%. 3 points left. So now we can take a look at things like there's this 15% increased effectiveness of perks. That will make all of that stuff I'm doing. If I look at the stats here, you can see where I'm at now. I'm at plus 93% critical damage multiplier, plus almost 32% critical hit chance. My effectiveness of perks is only 33%, so that's something I could try and get up. I have plus 2.48 in melee damage. My projectile damage is almost double. My projectile speed is faster, and my reach is considerably better. So basically, what we're looking at here is if we can snag some effectiveness of perks. We pretty much got most of the perks that I'm looking for here that do damage. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm happy with that. So now, critical. That's not how you spell critical. Is there any good stuff for critical? 3% chance. I've got most of the good crit stuff. Honestly, I think the best bang for a buck right at the moment might be getting some more effectiveness of perks to make the perks that we've taken even feistier. So here's 15% there. So now our crit damage multiplier is 103. Projectile damage is over double now. Can we get to another effectiveness one? So there's that one. 1, 2, nope. We can still pull Rampage. Let's see. And we got another battle going on. Get him, boys. Good, clean fun. Alright, so last 2 points. Perk effectiveness. We got 3% there, 2% there, 3%, 4%, 7%. Let's see. With 2 points, I'm thinking maybe these two 7% are the way to go. We're getting down into the nitty-gritty at this point, so here we go. Final thing. Projectile damage plus 242%. Nice. Projectile speed plus 24%. Reach is good. And I think that's melee reach. Could be bow reach as well. Melee damage. Effectiveness of perks, by that going up is how we got, some of these going up. Critical hit chance up around 39%. And the damage multiplier is 113 plus 113. So if we did double damage, we're now doing like triple damage or whatever with crits. So boom. That is good stuff. So let's do... let's get rid of some of these damn feathers. And let's make it daylight. And let's just take a look at what else is going on in the world here. I'm still in the process of moving out. So I decided the way I had these set up before looked a little phallic, with the tall spire with the two little boulders at the bottom. So I've changed the look up a bit here, put in some extra black here and there just to make it look a little bit more disjointed and weird. So one of the things I've done is I have added on my earth runestones, I've added a door to a mine area. And I want to show you how I got to 30. That's causing some lag. Get rid of that. I basically want to show you how I got to 30 perk points pretty fast. And this is it, basically. So this is me just going nuts with a flux bore. So if we set this thing to 3x3x3, and then I just do this. I got a cave illuminator up above this. And basically, as quick as I can move and aim, I am destroying lots and lots of blocks. And so with Evortio as my beginning attunement, I was able to just do this and go absolutely nuts. And that sort of gives you a feel for how this happens. So the one thing I do prefer, again, this is my first time really using the flux bore, but one of the things I actually sort of prefer is that this is happening without vein mining, so you don't have that extra food saturation loss and hunger that you get when you're doing this with vein mining using a really good Tinker's Construct pick. Now again, I can do this with usually with a Tinker's Construct pick too, but it just is harder in this mod pack because they have set the mod designer has set the experience so high for Tinker's Construct stuff. Anyway, I think you guys get the point. When you're getting experience from breaking blocks, and you can break blocks this fast, you can gain experience very fast. Now, it really still started to slow down. Basically, as I did this, it would start to slow down, but then I would get more points into, more gain, more experience gain perks. And then that would help me speed it back up a little. It still sort of hit the brakes around 27, but as you can see, this gets the job done. Also keep in mind that with Evortio, I had 20% speed increase, so it was actually even faster than that. So anyway, this is what leveling up Astral Sorcery perks in a couple hours looks like. Sort of a mess, but this is why this is a mine out in the middle of nowhere. And I just happened to, I kept my eyes open for a place like this, but basically I was just looking for a place that didn't have a bunch of junk, like a bunch of dungeons and etc. I just wanted a plain old slice of life to chew up. What I'm doing right now is that somewhere in this mess there's actually a Ferrous what they call Wroughtnaut, or I can't remember what they call them exactly, but maybe we'll go try and fight the other guy. So no, I don't have a good sword yet. We'll save that for another time. Instead, let's go ahead and teleport home. So you've seen my Astral Sorcery base, you've seen my perks. I gotta get rid of some of this junk. This is, I've settled in here a little bit. I got some Desert Myrmex resin glass from Ice and Fire, and I wanted to see what it looked like, so I put some up, and I sort of dug it, so I left it up. The floor is a little bright because I do have some of those Random Things Spectre Illuminators made out of ectoplasm above this chunk. So that makes all of this a little bright in here, which is good, but I probably should have gone with like a gray floor just so it isn't so bright. This looks better in dim light because it actually brightens up the place, but then when you get some really good light in here, things go a little bright, but I can live. Fumoto, on the other hand, needs shades. So this is my Doggy Talents dog. I haven't played with him too much other than naming him and selecting his initial talents, which is Creeper Warning, or Creeper Scoper, or whatever they call it. So he growls whenever there's creepers outside, so that's sort of handy, so I don't wander out and get blown up. You can see I've got all the Pam's junk here, so I had set up a, sorry, Fumoto. I had set up a fishing trap, and I had tons and tons of fish. So I moved all of it in, and I ate one of all the raw fish and one of all the cooked fish. I did actually do some vein mining, just to use up saturation and hunger faster, which then allowed me to eat lots of variety of foods. So that's how I'm up to 30 hearts, which things get sort of hard to progress after that, but there's lots of cupboard space here just because I like to keep all of my stuff in here just so that I can go here and go not and see what recipes there are that I have not used. It's probably easier to keep it all in an ME system, but I just really like that feature of going not for not eaten and then just making one right here. It's a little harder to tell what you have and have not eaten in your ME system. And then also that gives me lots of space above countertops for tool racks and whatnot, which are the tools necessary to do stuff. And then also I made a couple of cows in a jar. And where's my wrench? I can never find anything. I know it's sitting right here in front of me and I still can't see it. There it is. So I've got back in the corner there a tank that's got 540 buckets of milk. So when you put these on the counter, they will provide milk for things like if I wanted to make ice cream, I could click that and it will just take the milk out of those jars. I don't think I need any more. So as that was leveling up while I was working on other things, every time I came in here, I made a bunch of heavy cream and a bunch of plain yogurt and butter, just to build up a stock of it. These things only hold 8 buckets each, and they return, they make more milk pretty slow, which is why I've got that supplemental tank there. So now I've got plenty of milk for all my milk needs. So as soon as, mostly that's going to be good for fruit, so when I start growing some fruit trees, there will be the fruit yogurt, the fruit smoothie, the fruit yogurt, let's see, yogurt, smoothie, juice. Anyway, I'm going to make a bunch of fruit, and that will give me a lot of stuff. I don't know, the food list is getting sort of hard. It gets pretty darn hard to progress. I need 147 more for my next up, but still something to do. Over here I have my enchantment extractor. I am repairing some of this mechanism tools, refined obsidian, and refined glowstone armor, and throwing it in there. As soon as I get a big smelter set up, I will melt all of this down for refined obsidian, for mechanism, and refined glowstone, and then I'll be able to mix it with some osmium and make a bunch of osco glass for things like upgrading my armor. And again, this is just an inner tank hooked up to my mob farm, and then the fluid dictionary converter going from liquid XP to essence of knowledge, which then feeds into here for the stuff. Got a doggy bed for Fumoto, and that's all I've done up here so far. Down here I've set up some enchantment stuff, just a vanilla table, and then a one of these from Actually Additions, which I will need for enchanted metal and enchanted wood for a quest or two. I've got my lectern for my bestiary book here for Ice and Fire, and I've got some Ice and Fire stuff up here, various hearts and bones and scales and deathworm stuff and sea serpent stuff that I happen to come across. And here I've got my Electroblob's Wizardry, so that's sort of a backup wand up there. Here's some just miscellaneous junk, some of the big crystals and doodads. And these are the spells that I like and have identified, mostly the advanced stuff, and these are the ones that I currently have in my wand that I'm carrying around. I did finally get a Mastered Storm Mage wand out of my mob farm, and I also got Earth Pants, so now I'm down to just needing a Sorcerer's Wand. Master Sorcery Wand. If we come up here, you can see I've got a couple of... Ooh, the Aurora Borealis is bright. You can see I've got a couple of these Spectre Illuminators here, covering the house in the front yard. I put in some Pam's apiaries up there, Harvestcraft apiaries up there, to make some honey and whatnot. And I put in some Co-Rail tombstones. There's 3 of them, the black ones, and you can see they have spirits on them. So if I die and I come here to my set point, I can take the key and I can click it on one of those, and then I can turn it into a teleportation key that will teleport me to my corpse. Then I put in a little water fountain up front, and it is dark out. It's a new moon, so the darkness thing, when there's a new moon, it makes it even more dark out here, but you can see how the Spectre Illuminators light things up. And anyway, let's go back downstairs. I took out the grass path. I decided I didn't like them. They're a bit too brown, and I didn't like the stutter step of moving on and off of the grass. Anyway, so things are coming along here. And let's see, what else is there to show you? I don't think there's anything new going on at the mob farm. Check this real quick. This has been running, I don't know, for like another dozen hours since the last time I looked at it. I just leave it on all day, and I think I left it on all last night too while I slept. And it looks like everything's fine. I've got tons of stuff. I do pull stuff out of here occasionally. I pulled out a bunch of glowstone when I was working on Astral Sorcery. I pulled out some other stuff. I can't remember what even. But this is all going well. Geez, I'm up to 100 and, what is that, 190-ish? 180 Undying Hearts. So at least I'm killing those miserable new bosses. Let's go ahead and turn off my magnet and go downstairs and see if I got my Master Sorcery Wand. I haven't looked at it in quite a while. Yoop. Everything still looks good. Got a Wand of the Pyromancer. I don't suppose I have any. I think I found one master book in here, but I don't know. It might have been dropped by an Undertaker, because I usually don't see those. But now that I've seen one, which I can't, it may have been a quest reward. I wasn't paying a lot of attention, so I might have gotten it from a quest reward or something, or it might have dropped from an Undertaker. But anyway, yeah, things are moving along. But I did get my Earth Mage leggings, so I've got all of the outfits, so that's cool. I'm going to repair these and put them on armor mannequins and then set them up somewhere. And so I'm carrying my Master Storm Mage wand, and I still am running this, still collecting Electroblob stuff there, hoping to get the last wand, which will be, I've got this one, but I need this one for sorcery. And I do like sorcery, some of their stuff is cool. Don't really need the master one, but well, I guess I should say, so I was, when I ran this a bunch of time, the number of unburied dead did end up building up when I ran it overnight. So what I did was I filled in this walkway with, I filled in most of the walkway with dirt, leaving only the entrance here. And then I put down stone slabs, which hopefully will keep things from spawning on them. And since I've done that, there hasn't been much of a build-up down here. So that's good. And that's for all the summoned minions, like the Mausi's Barracoa, the little Witch Doctor guys, and what have you. Alright, I think that is about that. So next time, let me pause here and see how much time we have left. If we have time left, we'll go play with our bow using the new. Actually, that's one thing I did do was now that I'm an Astral Sorcerer, I went ahead and made some Instone. I used a collector crystal and the linking tool to transmute some sandstone into Instone. So now I could technically make an Insteel bow and an Ender Insteel sword, so I might want to do that. Anyway, let me pause and see how much time we've got left on the clock. Alright, it looks like we have some time left in this episode, so let's go ahead and make ourselves some good weapons finally. So we're going to make ourselves an Ender bow. This thing is a beast. The only problem I have with it was that there's this ability to be a stealth archer where you crouch and shoot your bow and things don't see you as easily. And you can do 1.75 damage, which is nice. However, I found in playing around with it that I just sort of didn't like that loss of mobility of crouching and trying to crouch and shoot and all that stuff, especially when I don't really need it. I found myself basically getting less shots off, and each shot maybe was a little harder to hit, so I prefer to just keep mobile. So we're going to not worry about the fact. And the reason you have a hard time doing that is because these are Ender IO ones, and so when you shift, it tries to open up your upgrades, like Micro Anvil and Empowered. But basically, let's not worry about that quite yet. So first thing we want to do is we want to make a couple of Insteel and an Infinity Rod, and we want to make a Skeletal Contractor and some Infinity Rods. So I think I've got most of the stuff we need for that. Let's run up here. So my next big project, now that I've sort of got, what's that guy carrying around? Oh, it's a scroll. So I've got, let's see, we want some of this action. We're going to want So one of those, two of those. I have to make these skeletal contractors for the big item filters. So I'm familiar with them, but I can't remember what the last piece is. Let's see, it's that and that and that. Oh, 2 solarium, and we don't have solarium. That's why I have this on me. No wonder I was not seeing what else to put in. It's because I had to make it. Okay, skeletal contractor. So we got that in 3 strings. So now we just need some in steel. And now we just need 3 of the infinity sticks. Which I believe I have the stuff I need. So let's see, we're going to want yeah, that should be plenty. And I think I have some sticks in here too. And see if that gets us there. I need 2 for the bow and then 1 for the handle of the sword. So we need 3. And then we can go boop, doink, point. And there, we've got a nice new sword. We're going to have to move all of our enchantments over, but we can do that in a moment. And then we want doink, 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 kaboop, and these 2. And again, we'll have to move the enchantments over, but that is doable. So let's put some of this stuff away. Don't need that. Alrighty, let's go do some enchanting. I'm still going to be happy to put this sandcastle area in the rear view mirror, so next thing I'll be working on is an industrial area with an ME system for auto crafting. So that is the next area on the list, so I can get all my garbage organized. So the first thing we might as well do is, I know I'm going to want to use pretty much the same stuff I've got on here. I'm breaking 3, mending, maybe yes, maybe no. Leech, looting. Let's just start pulling stuff off. I probably have copies of most of these books, but may as well. Leech 4. Is there a Leech 5 that I'm missing? I don't know. And that is now pretty much garbage. And actually, I'm just going to trash it right into the dumpster. And let's do the same thing for our bow. I made this platinum reinforced bow. It was okay, but it didn't have the distance of the ender bow, so you had to arc it. But it allowed me to play around with the stealth archery stuff, which was cool. Not overly necessary, but cool. Alright, so now let's make sure I don't have anything about leech. I've got a leech 3, I got a leech 3, leech 3, a couple of leech 3s. So leech 4 is actually good. Alright, leave that. Sharpness. Do I want to put Vorpal 3 on there? Maybe I do. I know we can get higher sharpness. Yeah, here's some sharpness 5. Let's go ahead and do that instead. Not too worried about Vorpal at the moment. So that can go away. Also, we're going to do... So one of the things I didn't mention, but now that I've got ectoplasm on tap, as we can see from the stack of ectoplasm, I have anchored my 3 dank nulls, I've anchored my flux bore, I've anchored my wand, I've anchored my fluxomagnet, and my... I forgot to anchor this guy. But basically it acts like soulbound without taking up an enchantment slot. So that can be handy. But let's go ahead and start working on that sword. The anvil's upstairs. So we're going to want sharpness 5 first and foremost. Definitely going to want someone breaking. Mending, let's save that. Leech 4, sure, why not? XP boost, let's hold off on that. Looting 3, sure. And the rest of that, not so much. Alright, now we can go back and loop back and get some of this other stuff. Bending, do we want that? Sure. Whoa. And my anvil broke. That was alarming. Alright, and now we want a new anvil. Oh gosh darn it. Still get a little, still mess up a bit sometimes with the old flux bore. I forget that it's area effect. Let's get this set to single block before I do that again. Alright. Oh, and what I was trying to do was I was trying to open this. Thank you. And, whoa, I've got 7,600 iron. I had no idea. I guess I did a little mining. Again, I'm more than doubling because I also get a few spare. So it's like I'm 2.25ing my stuff. So that's pretty cool. So what are we doing here? We are making a new anvil. I think we need 3 of those maybe. 2, 3. Very nice. Clink. Alright, and we got mending on there. XP boost. Gosh, I just don't need XP boost. I think I'm going to leave that alone, and then maybe if I feel like it, I can add something like a Vorpal or Sweeping Edge. That's the one I want. We got some Sweeping Edge going on over here. Sweeping Edge. Double click in there, light this up. Sweeping Edge 3. Yes, please, thank you. I'll take some of that. All the things. What? Not enough experience. We can fix that. To the mob farm. I have got 677,000. solidified experience. So if we do this, that should give us a bit of experience to work with. And again, you can shift right click to consume a whole stack. Oops, going up. Let's try this again. Sweeping edge. Doink. Alright, let's work on the bow. Unbreaking, sure. And power 5, okay. I need to also get the infinity. Oh yes, of course. I need to get the Astral Sorcery stuff going. The Astral Sorcery bookmaking stuff, because you can make books and you can give it like 3 doses of the defense Armara, I believe it is, constellation, and I think you can make like unbreaking, or I forget. Oh no, that's the resistant one for armor. Anyway, you can make some good stuff. I think it's 3 times Decidium might get you power 7. And then there are also tricks to duplicate that and get even more ridiculous, but this will be pretty darn ridiculous as it is with all of our leveled up perks and Astral Sorcery perks combined. Alright, so that's a good start. We also sort of want to make them empowered. Don't need to, but since we're doing it, we might as well do it right. I'll do that in between episodes. You guys have probably seen that before. You can shift right click and it'll say no upgradable dark steel items equipped, but we will go ahead and if we put this on, I think, a dark steel anvil, which I'll need to make one of those, we can put in empowered. I think it'll take up to empowered 2 or 3, and that will both up the damage. I think the Endermark 2 goes up to like damage 14, 15, 16 range, and it will also make it so that it spends power instead of durability. So that is good and good, but I'll do that in between episodes. Let me pause here and see if we have enough time to maybe go try out the Ferrous Wrougnaut again, since that's how we ended the last one. And we can see how much difference the Astral Sorcery perks and the new sword make. Be right back. Okay, we're coming up at the end of the episode, but let's see if we can do a bit more damage to this guy. I still don't like the fact that he seems sort of stuck up there. Why don't we try and give him a little bit more room to maneuver so that maybe we can get a better shot at his back. What am I looking for? I'm looking for that. And then let's just go doink, doink. Alright, now we got a little bit more room to work with. Do I need to do anything here? No, pretty much good to go. See if we can get a shot. So he's at 513, and I've hit him in the back like 3 or 4 times with my old sword and my old perks. Okay, yeah, buddy. That's got a lot of knockback. Come on now, hit us with the overhead. Let's turn you around this way. There you go. Now, boom. Oh, 473. So, went from 513. So that's like 27, 30, that was 40 points damage. That ain't bad at all. Whoa, come on now. You're lucky I like you, buddy. Probably shouldn't get airborne. I don't think I'd get knocked back as far. I do have some knockback reduction on this armor. Oh, too slow. Ran into the wall. Come on, you. There we go, 430. Getting there. Oh, did not work. $387. Slowly getting our way down through this. Is that all you got, buddy? Come on now. Yeah, you only get one shot at his back when he sticks his axe. Ooh, he double use. Ooh, that's... He did a 1-2-3 job on me there. That one actually hurt. Come on, get out the way. Oh, damn it, too slow. Ran into the wall again. Get away from the wall a bit so I can get behind you easier. Dude, you are slow. He did the wind up on me again that time. Okay, that's far enough. 214. We're getting there. Oh, somehow missed him. Must have come in at too much of an angle. Just got me eating food though. Darn it. I need more run speed is what I need. And better anticipation. Okay, here we go. And there we go. 128. We're getting there. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Don't give up, buddy. You're doing good. I got faith in you. Yeah, I'm not falling for that one anymore. Okay, we're getting there. Whoa. And there we go. Nice. That caused all sorts of stuff. I forgot to even check if I have the bounty on him yet. I think there's a bounty on him. Oh no, he's a boss fight. He's... Here we go. So we got 200 coins and 64 primal void stone. That stuff looks sort of cool. I might try and incorporate some of that into my crazy dimensional door rooms. And then a black market thing. Let's see what we got in there. And we got his helm that never breaks and his axe of 1,000 metals. Attack speed 0.9. I'll pass, thank you. And we got a Valenite shield. Not much of a shield fan, but I can take that with me when I go to the Between Lands. Alright, well there you go. We defeated the guy. So these will be better once I get some empowered on them. But that's already a big improvement over my last weapons. That and the perks. So we're doing better. Definitely need to improve this. So our improvements will be getting him as much empowered as we can squeeze onto these, and then we will start killing the Wither at some point and get a bunch of Supremium, and we'll make a Supremium sword and trick it out. And that'll probably be the real business when we get a tricked out Supremium sword and Supremium bow. But for now, I think these are going to be good. The bow should be absolutely devastating now, so I'm looking forward to that. We should be back up to the 2 or 3 shot, even stage 5 dragons now. So I'm happy there. And with that, let's call it an episode. That was a bit of a marathon, but we wore him down. Good armor and a decent sword and lots of perks. Got the job done. I'll talk to you later. Bye.